In the last few videos, we have seen how to define user-defined functions in Python. So Python has a rich built-in functions which are very useful for certain applications. So we'll see some of these built-in functions which are helpful for our regular applications. So in this video, we'll see the details of the map function, which is a built-in function of Python. Consider the sample function definition. So with the name square, and which takes a parameter a and returns the square of the parameter that is received by this function square. Now if we would like to call this function, then we can simply call this function square by passing a value. Say for example, here I have a function call where I am calling this function square by passing the argument 5. But assume there are a collection of elements and I would like to call this function square for every element in this collection. Consider this list L with a collection of elements, and I would like to call this function square for every element in the list L. And here if you observe, we can use this code snippet to call the function square for every element I in the list L. We created a new list L1, an empty list, and for every element I in the list L, we are calling this function square by passing I as an argument, and the function square returns the square of that number I appended to the list. That is how for every element in the list L, we are getting the square of that number and we are forming a new list L1. So if we have a large collection of elements also, we need to use a for loop to iterate over every element, and we have to call the function for every element in the list. But this can be achieved in a simple manner using the map function. Map is actually a built-in function provided by Python. So this map function takes two arguments. The map function calls a specific function for every element in the list you are provided as an argument. I would like to call this function square for the list of elements that are stored in the list L. So in that case, you need to pass the function you would like to call as a first argument, and as a second argument, map takes an iterator. So here in this case, I would like to call the function square for every element in the list L. So I am passing L as a second argument. And then it applies for every element in this list L, the square function is applied, and then it returns the map object. So here you can run this code and check. So here if you observe, it returned a map object. If you would like to get a list out of that, you can convert this map object to the list by applying the explicit type conversion. Here you can see L1 is the list that is displayed as a result of this code snippet, which contains the square of every element of this list L. So that is how map function can be used to call a specific function for every element in the given list L. The iterator you are passing to the map function as an argument, it need not to be a list, it can be of any iterator. That is, it could be a tuple, it could be a dictionary, or it could be even a set also. So that is how map function can be used to call a specific function for every element in an iterator. Now let's have a look at another example. Now consider this function cube, which receives a parameter a and returns the cube of that parameter a. Now consider this tuple as a collection of elements. Now I would like to call this function cube for every element in the tuple t. The map function can be used to call the function cube for every element in the iterator t. So here t is a tuple and I would like to call the function cube for every element in the tuple t. This is how the map function can be used to call the function cube for every element of the iterator t. That is how map can be used to call a specific function for every element in the given iterator. So it can be used with a list, it can be used with tuple, or it can be used with a set also. As long as the second argument is an iterator, so it can be passed as an argument to the map function, and the first argument must be the function name, so that the function is called for every element in the iterator that is provided as a second argument. Now I hope you understand how the predefined function map can be used to call a specific function for every element in the iterator. Thank you for watching this video.